So let's kick off Real Madrid talk with previewing Real Madrid's next matchup with Levante, and that's going to take place at the Alfredo Di Stefano, Real Madrid's field in Madrid, tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. So Real Madrid have published a 20-man squad for tomorrow's clash. Dani Carvajal, Sergio Ramos, Fede Valverde, Lucas Vázquez, and Rodrigo are all missing due to injury problems. And Nacho Fernandez have tested positive for COVID-19, so he is still in quarantine. So now our backline is dealt with a big blow. Oh, by the way, Zinedine Zidane also is not going to be on the sidelines or on the bench managing or coaching, or whatever you like to call it, because he is also in quarantine after testing positive for COVID-19. So Biatoni will be stepping in for him. So let's look at the guys who are active. So here's the full squad. Goalkeepers, Thibaut Courtois, Andre Lunin, Diego Altube. Defenders, Eder Militão, Rafael Varane, Marcelo, Arbalo Odriozola, Ferland Mendy, Victor Chust. Midfielders, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro, Isco, Sergio Arribas, Antonio Blanco. And Eden Hazard, Karim Benzema, Marco Asensio, Vinicius Jr., and Mariano are the forwards. So, Real Madrid has called up some young players from the B squad or the developmental squad to step in and be substitutes. And those guys are actually Victor Chust, let me see here, Sergio Arribas, and Antonio Blanco. But here's the lineup. So Arbalo Odriozola is officially given the nod. And I say thank you. Lucas Vázquez got hurt last week. Okay? Imagine if Lucas Vázquez didn't get hurt, he would be in that position. So Odriozola gets the nod for the defensive side, but let's break it down. So it's gonna be Eder Militão, Rafael Varane, Arbalo Odriozola, and Ferland Mendy, or vice versa, what have you. But so in all honesty, it will be Eder Militão, Arbalo Odriozola, Rafael Varane, and Ferland Mendy. So our back four is going to deal with a huge blow, not having Carvajal or Sergio Ramos there for the second consecutive week. But Lucas Vázquez also not being, and Lucas Vázquez not being there, because Lucas Vázquez took Carvajal's spot, but he's not there. So Arbalo Odriozola will get the nod. So meaning if Arbalo Odriozola is substituted, it's looking like it's gonna be Marcelo in that spot if when substitutions come in. And then of course the midfield, do I really have to say it? The midfield, the deadly midfield, Toni Kroos, Luka Modric, Casemiro. Nothing to change there, really, unless injuries happen. But that midfield is deadly. I can't wait for tomorrow's match. So let's see what the midfield does. Forwards, Eden Hazard, Karim Benzema, and Marco Asensio get the start. And maybe Vinicius Jr. or Mariano step in on that spot. But we're going to have to wait and see what Biatoni does. But here's the thing. I don't know if Zinedine Zidane was behind. They say that he was doing things behind the scenes in his own home. And that's what Biatoni said as well. So here's the thing. Eden Hazard finally felt comfortable in the position that he was given. Real Madrid used, it was 4-3-3, but it looked more like a 4-4-2. And they used Eden Hazard as a false number 9. And that didn't work when Zinedine Zidane was on the field last time. But it worked with Biatoni. So I wonder what Biatoni did to actually have Eden Hazard be more comfortable, because Eden Hazard had an assist and a goal for Real Madrid last week. So let's see if he does that same thing with Eden Hazard this week. I'm curious to see what happens. Levante is another team that's like in the middle of the pack. They're not at the higher part of the table. They're not at the lower part of the table. They're in the middle of the pack. So I wouldn't be surprised if Real Madrid has some trouble. But I think Real Madrid, with the momentum that they picked up with Alaves last week, I think that momentum would help. So I think Real Madrid find a way to win this one 2-0. I say Real Madrid wins 2-0. Someone from that midfield, either be it Toni Kroos, Casemiro, or Luka Modric, are going to make goals happen, and then Karim Benzema is going to close it out. That is my prediction. Let me know what you guys think of the lineup. I know Real Madrid is missing key players like Carvajal and Sergio Ramos. That is huge, a huge blow. And Eder Militão and Arbolo Odriozola are going to be the starters for those two, because Lucas Vázquez is also out. That's another thing. You know, our forwards are going down left and right. Imagine if Karim Benzema goes down. I really don't want to think about losing other players right now, because Real Madrid, you know, the unhealthier that. This is why I'm kind of upset with Zinedine Zidane and Real Madrid. You know, getting rid of players that they shouldn't be. They really shouldn't have gotten rid of players that would help out. But whatever. Separate video on that. So let me know what you guys think. 2-0, Real Madrid beat Levante. Next up, guys, for Real Madrid talk, Sergio Ramos. More and more likely to leave. Let's talk about that next.